Welcome to this new class about deep policy search. In this class we will investigate three algorithms: TRPO, Actor and PPO. More precisely, I will build on my previous policy gradient class. I suggest that you really have a look at this class if you want to understand how TRPO and other algorithms work. Okay, and then I present those three algorithms. I will insist on the fact that two aspects distinguish TRPO from the rest. First, it uses a surrogate return objective, and it uses the natural policy gradient technique. Actually, TRPO is not much used, and I will explain you why. Then I will present to you very quickly in one slide the Actor algorithm, which only makes a small difference with respect to TRPO. And then I will say a few words about the PPO algorithm. Actually, there are two PPO algorithms, and the point is that they are well covered on YouTube videos, so I won't insist on these algorithms. I will just give a quick overview. And you have to know that this one has a very easy implementation, so it is a lot used in reinforcement learning experiments, despite a not so good sample efficiency, but a nice stability. Okay, so let's start with TRPO. First, I have to explain to you the surrogate return objective ID. So if you followed my previous class about policy gradient algorithms, you know that the standard policy gradient for stochastic policies is noted this way. So that's an expectation about an expectation of the derivative of the log probability of taking an action given a state times the advantage function. Okay, the idea is that if the advantage is positive, you will reinforce the probability to perform that particular action in that state. And the advantage is negative, then you will decrease this probability. So you will move towards making the best actions everywhere. And this gradient is obtained from differentiated a loss, which is this one, exactly the same term here. But the point that John Schulman explains is that we can obtain the same gradient from differentiating something different, and actually we could differentiate that. So that's a little different from here. Okay, you have an expectation of the probability of the current action given a state, so that should be noted as this way. There is a mistake here. Divided the probability of that action in state considering the previous policy that you were working on, and then times the advantage function. Okay, so the P theta old is the policy at the previous iteration, and that's this gets the same derivative as this, because if you expand that, in fact the derivative of a log can be written this way, and in that particular point, which is theta old, then you get exactly that derivative, so you get exactly the same thing as before. Okay. John Schulman also explains in this video that you can come up to the TRPO surrogate objective just using importance sampling, which is a different view about exactly the same ideas, but this way to present it is simpler, let's say. So if you want to know more, you should have a look at John Schulman's DeepRL Bootcamp lecture, which is pointed here at 8 minutes. Okay, so that's the surrogate objective, and that's a little different from what you use when you use the policy gradient. Then the second idea consists in using the natural gradient so as to enforce what is called a trust region constraint. So what does this mean? If you look at the gradient of a function, so the first order gradient, so the first order approximation of the gradient on that point, okay, you get this line, and this line gives you a correct idea of the gradient around that particular point. So in this region, that's a relatively accurate estimate of the gradient. But if you move too far away from this point, then your estimate of the gradient is not good anymore. Okay. So if you want to use the gradient at a point which is different from where you were trained, probably you will get something which is very inaccurate. So when you want to update your new policy, you should not consider a new policy which is too far away from the previous policy around, let's say, the current policy. So you want to define a trust region. So how can you do this? Okay. So in John Schulman's paper, which is here, okay, they provide derivation coming from monotonous improvement assumption, but actually this assumption does not hold in practice. So this is just theoretical derivation, but that's not what you do in practice because this does not hold. Okay. In fact, to ensure small steps, the idea is that TRPO will use a natural gradient update instead of the standard gradient. And how do you do this? The idea is that you want to maximize the surrogate objective that we have seen before, but you add some constraint. You want to perform this maximization over theta subject to that particular constraints. We tell you that you want the Kullback-Leibler divergence between the old policy and the new policy to be inferior to a particular number, delta, that you will have to set. Okay. So more precisely, doing this is using the natural policy gradient. If you want to understand better these points, I insist that you have a look at my advanced gradient descent video, which is also available on YouTube, or better that you read this paper when we together with Thomas Pierrot and Nicolas Perrin, we explain different first order and second order variants of gradient descent algorithms. Okay, and here we will explain what's happening when we used the standard gradient or the natural policy gradient. So in the first order method, you need to define a step size, okay, because your gradient can still apply there, and okay, you want to find a minimum, but there is no minimum along this line, so you will just define a step size and move no further than there, okay. Whereas if you use a second order derivative, you get something like this, so you can't find a minimum without needing a step size, okay. So the second order methods will provide also a more accurate approximation of the gradient. Okay, it's closer to the function here. Okay, and the idea is that second order methods provide a true minimum, as I explained to you, when the Hessian matrix is symmetric and positive definite. Okay, so that's a symmetric and positive definite matrix, SPD. So in both cases, irrespective of whether you use a first order or second order approximation, the derivative is very local. It's less local when you use the second order, but it's still local. So the gradient should not be applied too far away from the current point, as I explained before. Okay. So if I want to use natural policy gradient, what I will do is that I will constrain the stochastic policy to stay close to each other by using the KL divergence, as I explained to you before. And under this KL divergence constraint, it will be easier to move further away when the variance is large. This is explained with this drawing that you can find again on my advanced gradient descent video. The idea is that here the variance is large, and here it is more narrow, okay? And you can see that the KL divergence is greater when the variance is narrow. So if you want to minimize the KL divergence, it's easier when your variance is large. So in practice, applying gradient descent with a KL divergence constraint will first reduce the distance between the policies and then reduce the variance, because it's easier to reduce the KL divergence when the variance is large. Okay, so this will ensure a large amount of exploration noise because you keep this variance large, and probably that's the main effect of TRPO, that it favors exploration. Nowadays, with algorithms like soft actor critique, this mechanism has been mostly replaced by using entropy regularization, which is somewhat easier to define. Okay, and if you want to know more about the natural policy gradient, again, I encourage you to have a look at our paper with Thomas Pierrot and Nicolas Perrin about those different gradient techniques. So what we do is that in TRPO, we will perform the optimization subject to the KL constraint using a conjugate gradient method to avoid approximating a Fisher information matrix. The idea is that when you want to compute a natural policy gradient, this defines a Fisher information matrix, which can be very large in the case of neural networks. So approximating this matrix will be very expensive. So John Schulman proposes rather to use a conjugate gradient method, which is something more efficient, okay, where you multiply matrices by vectors so as to avoid to represent the matrices, okay. And this makes TRPO tractable. But the point, as we will see later, is that those conjugate gradient methods are not available in libraries like TensorFlow or PyTorch. So you have to implement gradient descent by yourself, which is why most people do not use TRPO in practice, because that's complicated to code that. Okay. Last point is that when you, okay, let's go back. Okay, in fact, in the what you want to maximize, you have some advantage of using the current policy in a given state here. Okay, so how do you approximate this advantage? Okay, you need a non-periodical estimate of the value function in all states. Okay, to do this, TRPO uses a Monte Carlo estimate using some regression, and it constrains it as for the policy with some least square constraints. So it wants to minimize the distance of the neural network approximate of the value function with respect to the true value function as given by Monte Carlo trajectories. Okay, but this minimization, this least square minimization, is performed subject to that particular constraint. So you want the difference between the current estimate and the previous estimate to be lesser than some epsilon. Okay, that's equivalent to using a mean Kullback-Leibler divergence constraint between the different value functions and not between the policies here. Okay, that's a bit technical, but this helps providing a better estimate of the value function. Okay, so that's it about TRPO. So one point is that TRPO makes so that the current policy, the new policy, won't move too far away from the current policy. It is on policy. Okay, you cannot train TRPO with data coming from a very different policy. Okay, and something which is also very important in the good performance of the algorithm is that they use line search to deal with the gradient step size. Okay, you need to tune a gradient step size. Okay, and you can do it just by looking for different values more or less randomly, and what you can do is use a line search. So you start with a, let's say, a high value, and if it's too high then you move to a lower one, etc., until you get something which is accurate. Okay, and TRPO is clearly more stable than DDPG. It performs well in practice, but it is less sample efficient because it's on policy, so it cannot reuse data from a replay buffer. It has to provide more Monte Carlo trajectories to compute the new gradient and improve the policy at each iteration. And as I said, the conjugate gradient method is not provided in standard tensor gradient libraries, so it's not much used in practice. You have to know TRPO so as to understand the on-policy family of reinforcement learning algorithm, because that's the basis of different things. Okay, but it's not much used in practice. PPO is much more used. Okay, and if you want to know more about these algorithms, before the era of deep reinforcement learning, there were some closed algorithms which were natural actor critique from Jan Peters and Stefan Schall, and relative entropy policy search, which is also from the group of Jan Peters. Okay, so that's about TRPO. So what's Actor? Actor is very close to TRPO, but it computes the natural gradient in a different way. Actually, it uses what is called a Kronecker-factored approximated curvature. So instead of using a first-order approximation of the natural gradient as is done usually, here it uses a second-order approximation of this gradient using a Hessian matrix, okay, which will be better or more accurate than the first-order one. Okay. The point is that this Hessian matrix is huge. Okay, so you cannot compute the inverse of this matrix efficiently. So what they do is that they use a block diagonal estimation of this matrix, and by doing this block diagonal estimation, they are less accurate than they could be if it was possible to use the true Hessian matrix. Okay, so Actor is more or less TRPO with this Kronecker factored natural gradient calculation. And the point is that rather than using Monte Carlo everywhere, it's closer to actor critic updates. Okay, so it's a little more sample efficient. And they claim in the paper, that's the paper here, they claim in the paper that the update cost of actor is only 10 to 25% higher than standard gradient descent, but it's more accurate. Okay, actually this algorithm generated not much excitement. Probably this is due to the fact that using those block diagonal estimation lead to less robust gradient approximation, so it's not much efficient at finding a very good policy. Okay, that was about actor. So about PPO, as I told you as in the introduction, I won't speak for long because you can find very nice YouTube videos about these algorithms on YouTube. Okay, the general idea of the first algorithm is very simple. The starting point is that the conjugate gradient method of TRPO is not available in tensor gradient calculation libraries, as I said before. Okay, so the idea is to do as TRPO, so you will also use the surrogate return objective that is used in TRPO, but instead of constraining it with a Keil divergence and using a trust region as was done in TRPO, which made it necessary to use this conjugate gradient method, you rather use here, you want to maximize still the same surrogate return objective, but you regularize it with the Keil divergence here with some coefficient beta that you will have to tune. So that's very close to that. So instead of using a constraint, you'd rather use regularization. So you want to minimize this, but this way. And if you express your return objective this way, then you can use standard gradient descent techniques instead of conjugate gradient. So this leads to a much simpler algorithm, PPO, because you can use the standard gradient descent techniques which are available in PyTorch and TensorFlow libraries. And okay, you just have to minimize this using Monte Carlo updates, and that's easy. Okay, so you will find many implementations of this algorithm. Okay, there is a second algorithm which is a little different from the previous one. The main point is the following. The idea is that this term in the surrogate return objective, the probability of that action divided by the probability of this action, this term, this important sampling term, can get huge if this particular term is very small, quite obviously. So in that case, the surrogate return objective may get quite inaccurate. So you want to avoid performing changes corresponding to those huge values. So what they do, what John Schulman suggests, is just to clip this important sampling term so that it never goes above 1 plus epsilon or below 1 minus epsilon. So it won't go to plus infinity and minus infinity. So that's again this term, and the idea is that you clip it. So you, instead of taking its value, you bind the value between 1 minus epsilon and 1 plus epsilon, and then you perform the same estimate return objective calculation as before. Okay, and then you can backpropagate this loss through a policy network as usual as in TRPO, and this works quite well. So PPO, as I said, is a lot used. In particular, it's a lot used by OpenAI in their big demonstrations of robotics playing with the Rubik cube or this kind of things. Then they use many PPO actors in parallel. Okay. And a few points about PPO: it uses a n-step return instead of Monte Carlo, so it's closer to step-based, and it can become more sample efficient than TRPO. Okay, and the implementation is much simpler, so it's easy to write a PPO code, but you will find many on internet. Okay, and it performs a little better. Okay, but it is still on policy because you still have this constraint that you don't want the new policy to be too far away from the previous policy. So it's not as sample efficient as off-policy algorithms. And that's it for the algorithms. Thank you for listening. And if you don't have any question, don't hesitate to send me an email.